Welcome to our very first episode.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, this is going to be exciting, folks, and welcome to the one team we agree upon. And as you can see in the background, yes, we'll get into that in a second. This is the one team we agree on, the Philadelphia Union. So, um, my name's Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we are Union fans, of course. Obviously, this is a Philadelphia Union vlog slash podcast. So before we get started, want to thank you all to tuning in to this very first episode, and quite possibly could be the very last episode. We'll see how this goes. But we've debated about this for a while now, probably since the halfway point of the season, just because
Mhm.
we have been involved so much on social media and also just with a few other podcasts out there, mainly one Free Kick Pod.
Mhm.
Shout
Shout
out to
out Todd.
Todd. Yeah. But we really want to just kind of share our stories because I feel that especially on YouTube, there's not enough Union content and
Mhm.
creators. Like I'm a Dolphins fan, as you can see beyond. She's an Eagles fan. There are tons of creators out there. So we wanted to get something together that we both are very passionate about, which is the Philadelphia Union, and just share our thoughts each week. And the noise you hear in the background is our cats.
He's going nuts right now.
So they are excited as well that we are launching this. So long story short, we want to dive in and talk about our Union story. So my background is I actually grew up playing soccer. Played soccer up until high school, and then I became a swimmer, and had a very successful both high school and collegiate swim career. Followed soccer, big Serie A Milan fan. Always, probably since, oh man, that's probably 88. And
That's our cat.
sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But and so I remember going to Stanford swim camp the same week that the World Cup in '94 was in town. They were actually starting that week, and we got to see the festivities, and that was really cool because they were playing, I believe, at the Rose Bowl, or trying to remember where they were playing, but there was all this soccer '94 stuff for the World Cup. And then I got into coaching post college and went to school in Philly. So I understood the culture of the Philadelphia, fan base. Having a lot of my friends, teammates that were diehard Philly fans, 5 for 5 fans. Well, probably back then it was 4 for 4,
Mhm.
unless you counted the soul, which some were. And then MLS came to Philly, and that was exciting. I remember just hearing about all the stories and the formation of it. And then basically, I kind of followed along very casually.
Mhm.
But the league really wasn't up to what I was expecting it to be. So, really didn't get, really didn't like, have a huge, like diehard investment like I do
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
But as this team got better, as the quality of soccer in the MLS got better, I started following it a lot more. Obviously, I would start to see it more. Like I remember watching like the Portland Timbers, Seattle Sounders rivalries, a couple other rivalries as well, and just saying, "Oh, this is a different league than what I remember back in the day with like Tampa Bay Mutiny and the San Jose Clash and the Dallas Burn and all those teams." So lo and behold, yeah, I was coaching college, and then lo and behold, we were at a gallery at my last college coaching stop, and at this gala, there were tickets there for a Philadelphia
Yeah,
Union game.
silent auction.
And so this is where Jillian's part of the our Union story comes in. So why don't you explain it?
Yeah, so we we were at this silent auction, and it's out in Western PA, and there's a lot of Pittsburgh team stuff on the auction, and there were only a couple Philadelphia things, and me being a 5 for 5 fan, I was all over that. there was like a signed Sixers photo, and there were 2 Union tickets, and I was intrigued because I was like, "Oh, that'd be fun to go to." I've been to, everything else pretty much, well, except the Sixers. I still need to get to a Sixers game. But I was like, "Okay, that'd be fun, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
bet on that," and I was, um, literally the only one who bid on it because Western PA, no one out there cared, about any of the Philly things,
Mhm.
so for, like, 25 bucks, we won those and ended up going to a game, and for me, it was like, "Oh, sure, let's check it out," because, I mean, I've been kind of casually following the Union a little bit, but, I mean, they first kinda came to my attention back, towards the beginning of it, but um, when I saw in the local newspaper that, and I'm out of Lancaster, and we had, local guy, Andrew Wenger, playing, and when he got signed to it, I thought that was pretty cool.
He also has one of, like, I believe one of the most infamous memes of him just dribbling the ball out of bounds. Like, I think that's him. I
I
haven't
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I've known him a long time, him and his family. I gave him and his siblings swim lessons. I babysat them a few times and know that whole family. So when I saw he had made it in there, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I started kind of following them, and so it brought more attention to it for me. Because honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about soccer. I played a couple years in the co-ed YMCA league in elementary school.
Hmm.
I was a swimmer though, collegiate all the way up. Other sports, but really casual soccer fan, which my dad was semi-pro soccer, really, really good player. And but he never really was that much, he wasn't really encouraging us to go to soccer that much because he was also into swimming, but we could do what we wanted. But there's kind of a legacy there. And but yeah, I just was like just casual about soccer, and Kyle can tell you the beginning of us going to games, I was like, "What's a set piece?" That's how ignorant I was. I was like, "What's a set piece?"
And I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I still and I talk to people online all the time. There's still a lot for me, like, soccer has changed so much since I played,
Mhm.
like, I understand very much the nuances of it, but even still, I'm like, some of these things, I'm like thinking this, and then it's like, no, no, this is that. So, I think for me, so we got those tickets, and lo and behold, long story short, I lose my job. We go through a very difficult time, and one day I'm sitting there, and we're just, you're like, hey, why don't we go to a game? And so the game we decide, I'm like, yeah, I might as well get out of the house and do something. And so lo and behold, the game we go to was the Atlanta game,
2019.
2019 Atlanta game,
Mhm.
where they won 3-1. And I remember when we went to that game, just the excitement. Like, I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to a soccer game. We'd gone to the Harrisburg Heat earlier that year because that
Yeah.
was something I had always gone to. It was
Yeah, when I
fun.
was a kid, we go to Harrisburg Heat. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's go check this out. And I just remember seeing the stadium in the past and watching like a game here and there. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, like the Sons of Ben were getting into
Mhm.
it. The atmosphere was electric that night.
Mhm.
They win 3-1. Um, and it was just an
Mhm.
awesome game. And I remember us like leaving that stadium going, wow, that was actually really fun. Like you
Yeah, I
had
was like, I had a blast. I was
we
like,
both
"That's
did.
super,
I'm
super
like,
fun."
wow, that for like, that like 90 plus minutes, I was, had my mind off of everything in life.
Mhm.
And so lo and behold, we're like, well, we should go back. And then lo and behold, here comes LAFC. So we're like, okay, let's go sit the behind the goal. And then
Mhm.
we saw that exciting 1-1 draw with where Casper had that header right at the beginning.
Mhm.
And we got to sit some more fans. I think we were sitting down be underneath the stadium club seating right there. And that was an exciting game. So then we were like, all right. So then we start following them a little bit, and here
Mhm.
we get towards the end of the year. We're like, oh hey, there's another game. Let's go to the last home game, and we
Mhm.
finally said, let's sit in the Sons of Ben section.
Yeah, because I remember looking over at them. First of
Eh,
all, the first game we went to, I saw like a tailgate going on, and so when I saw the Sons of Ben, I'm just like, that looks like a good time. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, let's go to the river end over there and sit down."
Mhm.
So, for the NYCFC game where they lost 2-1, it was a great game. We had a fun time
Yeah,
standing and cheering, and we're like, we didn't even know half the chance, but
you catch
it
on.
was fun. So we're like, you know what? Let's go to the playoff game. I got
Mhm.
a good deal on tickets.
Mhm.
And we went to that Red Bulls playoff game.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I just remember they played like awful that first half. And we're sitting there in the cold rain.
Oh, yeah,
And we're
freezing.
both like, do we want to stick around for this one? We're like, yeah, let's go see how they do. Well, then they come out. Elliott has a header. They make that miraculous comeback. They win in extra time off of that deflected goal. Everybody's going nuts. It was an awesome experience. And we're like, all right, we're going back next year. We got like opening season passes to I think they were playing San Jose that game. That was gonna be a San Jose game. That was like their home opener.
Mhm.
And then of course COVID hit.
Wah, wah.
So so that season we were just kind of watching from afar. We watched the
Mhm.
Shield run on TV when we could get
Mhm.
it and followed along. And it was a lot of fun, obviously a lot of us we were in quarantine for a lot of us. I mean, I was
Mhm.
still wasn't working, so I was following along pretty religiously. You were teaching from home.
Yeah, good times.
So I mean, that was fun. And then the next year we decided finally after like lots of discussion because we were talking about getting season tickets the year
Mhm.
before with COVID, and then we're finally like halfway through the season. We're like, we like finally planned it out after a couple games, and the guy was like, "Look, you can do this, you can do this." So we ended up going,
Mhm.
and we've now been season ticket members since 2021, the year after COVID. So
Mhm.
um, it's been fun, and again, this is the one team we agree on.
Mhm.
So, Jillian, you are a
Eagles, Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, and obviously Union fan all
are
around.
are you also a Wings fan?
I mean, sure, why not? I have watched a few games on TV.
Are you a Firebirds fan? Or what are they? The Phoenix? The Frisbee team.
Oh, oh hell yeah.
I kinda wanna go to one of this game.
Hey, any team in Philly I support. Even okay, I don't even know much about
The
lacrosse. Besides
Fusion?
Fusion, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, esports.
But hey, I support any Philly team, no question.
And me, on the other hand, as you can see behind me, I'm very random.
Very
I'm a
confused.
Giants fan, a Dolphins fan, a Calgary Flames fan, and then, see oh, and, what let's see, Giants,
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. We don't have any Timberwolves stuff because they're like one of the worst franchises in
Yeah.
history. But so okay, why am I that? JT Snow for the Giants, first baseman,
Mhm.
Dan Marino, uh, Lanny McDonald from the Flames back when they won the cup, and then for the Timberwolves, Christian Leitner. Yes, and I haven't stopped following.
And you just like the unis. Let's be real.
I do like the unis. So the little Timberwolves unis. So anyway, but yeah, so this is the one team we agree upon. So um we're gonna go ahead and on today's episode, after we just given our introductions, we were recently at the MLS Cup.
Yes.
And these jerseys we were wearing, they are our lucky jerseys. And now
Mhm.
the funny story with this is I think we wore these jerseys the first time at the famous Cory Burke hip in the goal win against
It was
NYC.
it was like the end of June. Was it was
Yeah, it was that game. We had just, as you all remember, we had gone through that
all the
whole
draws.
all the
Oh my
draws, and
gosh.
then that the week after we had that bad loss to Chicago. But the funny thing was, like, we had worn these jerseys. So then the next game we wore the same combination in person. They won again. And then I won those jerseys in the game you couldn't be at, where they went off, and I was with our other buddy Todd, and they
Mhm.
went off for 7 against DC.
I was at the DC. Yeah,
No, no,
it was Houston.
that
No, wait.
was no, it was the DC game,
I
and
was
then
at the DC game.
the
Yeah,
Houston game,
was the one I missed.
yeah, and I wore this jersey, and then you wore that because I was out in Las Vegas, and you
Yeah.
wore this, and they beat Orlando. So
Mhm.
every game we were in person at, that was also include Red Bull and DC. Um, they won.
Mhm.
So we've been wearing those jerseys all the way through the final of the cup. So
Yep.
let's talk about the a trip to LA. I mean, yeah, it was heartbreaking, but
Mhm.
let's get back. We're standing there. Union just won the cup.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference
I mean,
Final.
not the my God,
Yes.
yes. Union won the Eastern Conference final,
Yeah.
and they were like, scan the QR code, and you
tried to scan it, but it didn't work, but I got it up, and the service, as anyone who's been at the stadium knows, is terrible. Hopefully they can improve that. But yeah, like we had talked about the possibility of, well, if we go to LA, if the team goes to LA, are we going? You know, we don't have anything going on that weekend and why not? So we look at each other, we're like, oh, we're going. We're going. Like when after we won the Eastern Conference final. So I'm there furiously on my phone, booking the trip, you know, because I figured, oh, that might, you know, get sort of because we're like, yeah, let's just do the Philly sports trip. So it's easier because it's so last minute. And then, you know, as soon as we could, you know, we started looking at flights. Then by the time we got home, you know, flying Spirit, you know, don't care how smushed up we are and crowded and whatnot there, and uncomfortable. I don't care. We just need to get to LA.
Right.
So, you know, that was, you know, it was a great, you know, package that we got. I mean, yeah, a little pricey, but you know, for last minute and what we got, you know, no
It is
complaints.
what it is. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
once in a lifetime
Mhm.
opportunity. Um, and you really never had been in LA, and I had, outside of
Mhm.
swimming, had never really spent time in LA
Yeah.
other than just in my hotel in the pool.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting opportunity. So
Yeah, and honestly, like, you know, I didn't even put in for the ticket lottery for the World Series for the Phillies because my thought was, well, if I do end up getting them, which who knows, but I was like, if I do end up getting them, I don't want to have to decide between, you know, possibly going to the Cup or going to the World Series because, you know, either way it's going to be pricey. So I put my money on the Union there.
it was a good bet.
hmm
So anyway, so we flew in that night, had a good flight out. We had a big contingent of Union fans on that
There,
flight.
yeah, we flew out of BWI. And yeah, there was like about 10 Union fans on that flight. Um, and you know, got to chat with them, and that was pretty awesome. You know,
It,
everyone's super excited.
Everybody was super excited, and I think the really cool thing was when we landed, everybody was still excited.
Mhm.
You know, we woke up the next morning, stayed at that really nice, what was
The
it?
Omni,
The Omni in LA. It was a
really nice
really,
hotel.
really nice hotel. I mean, yeah, I mean the package, you got what you paid for with that.
Mhm.
Um, that day on the buses, everybody was super excited, super pumped. I
Mhm.
mean, say what you want about the tickets and the tailgate price. I mean, so we get to the tailgate. Tailgate was, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, the food was excellent.
Mhm.
The food was very good. They
Yeah.
had a great, drinks. It was a cool little venue right
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Was it worth the money?
I
Probably not.
probably didn't get my money's worth
Didn't get our
nearly for
money's
that.
worth, but I mean, again, it
It's
was the
good.
experience. We
Mhm.
saw Renee there. We
Fang
saw
came. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw Renee there. We saw a couple other fans that we had tailgated with during the season.
Mhm.
And it got to meet some people I wanted to talk to that I interacted with on social media.
Mhm.
It was just a really fun time. Spirits were great.
Mhm.
Um, we had a really great march. I mean, it was a long march, and we
Yeah.
ended up going the wrong way at one
Yeah,
point.
heading towards the LA supporters.
Yeah, we
They're like,
had
"Quick, turn around, turn
turned
around."
around, ran towards the LA sports section, but
Mhm.
I remember that talking to I think it was Ross, the president says bed. He was like, was remarching. He's like, yeah, I was kept telling him. So we had some really good interactions with some people there, and just talking to some fans
Mhm.
walking in, and we got to the stadium. We were chanting all the way, and
Mhm.
when we got into the stadium, it was interesting because the LA fans were actually very respectful. Most of them, some of them
Mhm.
weren't. But some of them were very much, and then they understood this was going to be a very exciting game, and
Mhm.
they were like, "Hey, the best team wins today. The best team wins today." I will say this about the stadium: it was nice. It
Mhm.
was very nice, very state of the art. Probably one of the nicer ones we've been to.
Yeah.
I would say it's nicer than Red Bull. I mean, Red Bull's a nice professional
Yeah.
stadium, big stadium, but LA's pretty cool. It has his personality.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, before we talk about the game, real quick, I mean, let's talk about the atmosphere. The atmosphere was
Oh,
amazing.
incredible.
I mean, the intro where like they were like showing like they had like all the teams, and then they would show
That was cool.
they would show like the Union beat this team, and then it'd be like
Right. They
two
had all
teams, and then it'd
yeah.
be like one team, and then
Right.
then then they would do it for LA, and at the end it was all like the Union
Yeah, out
versus.
on the field, they had yeah, a thing that would, that showed the teams and who got eliminated. That was really cool.
And the other cool part I really liked was when we got there, when we were walking up to seats, the teams were coming out,
Yeah.
and the union first thing they did was they all dribbled over and started like applauding us and like going
Yeah.
like this and like so like they were like getting us ready and we were going nuts.
Mhm.
LAFC supporting section was probably the best one I've seen all year.
Yeah, I mean,
They had their crap together. I mean, their tifo with
their tifo
Goku,
was pretty awesome.
and they got yelled at, but with for having flares. Did you see that the
Yeah.
MLS came out and like
Oh, I didn't know they got yelled at
yeah,
for it.
they came out
They had
like
flares.
about illegal flares. I thought the flares were cool. I said
Honestly, I gotta hand them, like, it was pretty darn cool. Their supporter section was really, like, yeah,
organized.
organized.
They were
Yeah.
very organized. They were very loud. They kept going. The fans, I mean, the fans, we were kind of going back and forth with them, and like, yeah, some people
Yeah.
were flipping off the bird, but no, it wasn't like an NYCFC atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just two passionate fan bases going at it with each
Yeah.
other. The only problem I would have was still they kept
People throwing
throwing, but
crap on the field, like, throwing stuff at, like, our players and on the field, constantly, like, the PA announcers kept having to say, like, "Don't throw stuff on the field," basically.
but outside of that, let's talk about the game. I mean, it was the two best teams in
Mhm.
MLS. I
Yeah,
mean,
as it should be.
it should be, and we had our chances. We
Mhm.
capitalized. They had their chances. Granted, you could say that first goal, Jack had it kind of deflected in. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, we made some chances. At the end of the day, it was two heavyweight teams going back and
Mhm.
forth. Like, I remember texting people as soon as Ellie went up, I'm like,
Mhm.
we'll get it back. I knew we were going to get back.
Mhm.
And then when we went up, I'm like, this, and they scored again. I'm like, we're going to score again. And then they
Mhm.
did. And then we went up 3-2, and I'm like, after that goal, let's talk about that moment in time
Yeah.
because, you know, Creepo gets injured, Burke goes off, we get the whole thing. Former Union backup comes in,
Mhm.
and I follow him on Twitter, and I know how big of a Union fan he is. And I mean, it's business. This is his job. He
Mhm.
comes in, we go up 3-2. And for a moment, I remember I had like the Joe Rogan look. You ever see that meme where Joe Rogan's like kind of falling back when we went up? Like I
Mhm.
wasn't even cheering. I was just in utter shock, like,
Yeah.
what it just
Like,
happened. And
everyone
you're
we're
like
all, like,
holding on,
everybody's, like,
going,
hugging each other and going off and crazy, and,
I'm
like,
just standing there
he's, like, in
going,
shock.
I'm literally in shock. I'm just like, I can't believe we just did that. And then,
But in the back of my mind, being a Philly fan, I'm like, "This is too
well,
good to be true."
in
I'm
my
like,
gut, I'm like, this isn't over.
yeah, I know, we know it's not over." And
And say what you want. I mean, I've seen some people say it was Bizo. Bizo, he had that line, the ball just got over him. I thought the ball was out,
mhm.
but it was right on the line. I like watched it again.
Yeah,
It
I
was
thought
right.
it was out at first too,
It
like,
was a game of inches, and that
yeah,
ball was played perfect. And
and
Gareth is going to do what Gareth does. I mean, he did it in the Premier League, winning a championship. I mean, he's done it. He is the heartbreak kid. He's broken some other teams' hearts before. Puts
yeah,
a perfect ball, and there's nothing Blake's going to do. And
yeah,
after that goal, we were all kind of crap, but I kind of still had like confidence going into PKs. But the
yeah.
PKs are such a crapshoot. You
I
just
hate
need.
PKs. Ugh.
But Blake makes the first one. We're like, okay, Danny, make this. And then of course Danny slips.
When that happened, honestly, that was the
That was
moment I
why
thought,
I was like,
I
no,
was
it's
like,
not.
"We're not gonna
And then they
win this."
scored, and I'm like, okay, we got to score. And the only thing I'm going to question that entire time, I was fine with Kai going because Kai's.
Yeah.
Why was Jose going second?
Yeah. Nothing
Like,
against Jose, but that was not where I would have put him.
I wouldn't even
Absolutely
have
not.
him shoot. I would put
No.
Carranza or somebody,
Guy who,
or
yeah,
even
why wasn't
Elliott,
Carranza? I know. Like,
or even So long
yeah.
story short, um, you know, I think Jim's comment was, I heard people say, "Oh, what'd he do? What'd he do?" And my whole thing is, Jim said best. When it goes to PK, my coaching job's done. I just
Mhm.
kind of stand there and I'm a participant.
Yeah.
So obviously, we know how that game turned out. At the end, the team came over and plotted. And, we were still cheering. There was a lot of people that were,
Mhm.
hurting, but we were cheering loud. I mean, even after the game, I mean,
Mhm.
we were cheering and applauding them, thanking them. And it is what it is. So we left there,
Mhm.
got on the bus, went back to the hotel, and you and I sat there and just kind of like, well, let's go out and see LA.
Yeah, we were kind of numb and gutted at the moment, but yeah, we're like, "Yeah, let's go explore."
So we explored the
Well, first we get how about first uh,
oh yes.
we get okay, so we're at the Omni and we're gonna go down explore LA, we wanna go to the Golden Road Brewery, and, we get in the elevator to go down, and John Lynch is in the elevator,
NFL, icon.
GM of the Niners, and
Yeah, just shows up,
yeah,
walks in, and we're like, oh, John Lynch is in here. So we had a little like couple pleasantries with him,
mhm,
and very nice man.
yep,
So
mhm,
then we headed to Golden Road to watch
yep,
the Phillies,
at
and
that market at the
which
the
was
Grand Central
really cool.
Market.
And there were some LA
Oh, yeah,
fans and there was Union fans, and everybody
mhm,
was very cordial.
yeah.
They were even like, wow, we didn't think you guys were that good.
Yeah, everyone was,
Uh,
like, pretty complimentary, like, "Yeah,
and
hey, you
then
guys put up a fight," and
I mean, they just won the cup. Of course, they're
I
going to
mean, for
say that.
yeah,
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 but I mean, at the same time, Union fans, we were kind of like down. But I remember just that night, just sitting there, everybody sharing stories about the season
mhm. We're watching the Phillies and just talking and
and just talking about the season. And
yeah,
it was kind of good therapy. I felt
mhm,
like everybody was just having therapy. Even some LA fans were like hanging out with us, just chatting about their season. And we
mhm,
all agreed it was the best game probably in the history of
mhm.
MLS. Like this will develop the league, I feel. So
Yeah, I mean, that was quite the day, and then, for the Phillies to go and lose the World Series in the same day, that hurt.
yeah, we
But,
did not sleep well that night.
I really didn't sleep well that night. Nope, I maybe got 3 hours, I don't know.
But after that, we went back to the hotel bar, hung out with some more fans, and
Mhm,
we were all talking. We're like, "Yeah, we're going to win a cup one day," and I still believe that we will
I
win
do.
a cup one of these days,
Yep,
and we
hopefully next
will
season.
hopefully next season. But and then we went to Santa Monica the next
Yeah,
day and got to go walk around Santa Monica Pier, checked out the town, had great breakfast. We
mhm,
saw some Union fans there, so some other people
yeah,
had the same idea as we did.
yep.
What's your thoughts on Santa Monica?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, finally got to see the pier and all that, and it was beautiful around there. Some lots of nice shops, and like yeah, our breakfast was awesome. Like the food was just phenomenal. We had a lot of good food in LA. I mean, at the market, we enjoyed a
Hmm.
lot of good stuff there, Thai, and we had ramen and stuff. But like, yeah, Santa Monica, very walkable there, and yeah, it was a nice way to spend the day before we had to fly out.
Yeah. So that was our LA trip. Did you have fun?
The best. It was I
It
mean,
was
the
worth
only
it.
thing that would've made it better was if we won,
Well,
obviously.
obviously, but
But for what it was, yeah, I had a great time, got to see a city that I hadn't been to yet, and, the trip was totally worth it.
I do it again
No
in a
regret.
heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, even knowing the outcome.
Yes.
I'm really glad we went, and, you know, being the fact that there were 2,000 fans there from our team, and, we were loud, like, it was after we went ahead. I mean, LA was quiet, like, their fans were quiet, their supporter
The
section
one
was
thing I
quiet.
will
Now, of
remember
course, they woke up then.
One thing I remember about that right before that goal was we were doing that jump on Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and like the whole side of everything were just going
Oh,
like we were
yeah.
all like just going back and
Yep,
forth.
and the stands were shaking. Oh
We
my
were like
gosh.
going
It
nuts.
was it was nuts.
And one last thing, I just want to shout out to everybody that was at Sons of Ben. I mean, not Sons of Ben, Subaru Park.
Yes.
That was awesome to
Oh
see.
my
I
gosh, yeah.
I I know Todd and a couple other people sent me pictures, and that looked like a great time, and I know everybody there was super bummed after we lost too. So, I mean, are you over this game?
I mean, um, it still hurts, but I've had time to reflect on it and kind of look forward now at this point.
Mhm.
I'm optimistic for the future.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I am over it. I've been over it ever since the CCL draw. I mean, the next like literally that Monday night, I'm like, all right, here we go. We're winning it all. We're winning.
Yeah. I know, I'm
So,
just like, when can next season start? Yeah.
I'm ready for next season already. So well, probably in another episode, we'll talk about our favorite moments and some stuff
Mhm.
from the things from the season and just a couple things. One of the things we want to do is our goal is every game to kind of do like talk about the tailgates, the game
Mhm.
atmosphere, just kind of show give a different perspective rather than just stats and here's how the Union played. We want to talk about the experience on this
Mhm.
show. But just a little house. So we will talk a little bit more in next show about the season. But overall, I thought the season was a success. Yes, we didn't win a cup. We won the Eastern Conference. We were the Eastern Conference champions. As I
Yeah.
think it was Mike on Twitter who I interacted with said it's a glorified paperweight. It's still a trophy in my opinion.
Yeah.
But no, I think the only thing maybe was maybe so it was a little bit more hardware. But I think Ernst said best today.
Mhm.
He kept saying the season's a success, and
Yeah,
it was.
you can't like yeah, you can't forget the fact that we went undefeated at home.
We broke
You know,
millions
we
of
broke all
records.
these records, we had, all these, honors for for individuals, goalkeeper of the year and, defender of the
Best
year and
11.
yeah, best 11, like all those things,
It
um
was a success.
it was.
So let's talk a little bit about some recent news. So just some saying goodbyes. Cole Turner
Mhm.
say goodbye. Well, we never really saw much of Cole other
Yeah.
than you two.
Mhm.
My thoughts on that is I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only be on YouTube so long, and then it's like, okay, we gotta move
Mhm.
on, especially with all this young talent they have in like
Yeah.
under the development. Like my gosh, they have like so many of those U15s and 17s that are on national teams. You gotta start making room for them.
Yeah.
And here's my take on Cole is this. I look at him, I watch this game. He's a USL player.
Mhm.
He's a USL player, and there's nothing wrong with that. Lots of players make money in that league.
Mhm.
Honestly, we'll see where he ends up. Wish him the best.
Mhm.
But if I was him, I'd go to USL.
Mhm.
Go to Vegas. Go to Vegas Lights. Although I don't know if Vegas Lights are going to be around much because LAFC, I think, is having a team unless they do Las Vegas and they come. Could you
Mhm.
imagine if MLS Next Pro, if they came to, like in that league next
Mhm.
year, and like Vegas is one of the expansion teams,
Mhm.
and you have to play them. I might have to go to that game. Anyway, your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, it made sense. That one wasn't shocking to me. The one that was a little bit more, I mean, it wasn't shocking, but the one that I think, made me more sad. It's Cory.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think I said it on Twitter last night. I will miss Cory. Especially when Santos kind of left.
Mhm.
He was that spark we needed for so many
Yeah.
games just coming in.
You come in, everyone get going, Scory, Burke, and
Well,
and just he was that, he brought that energy on the field,
there was a time where he would come in just do nothing and
Right.
just was like almost in people's way and
Mhm.
breaking up plays. And then he started figuring out like became this really good hold up play and
Mhm.
he was scoring goals. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat like when he started, he only scored 3 goals, but of his 8 goals this year, including playoffs, he had 5 coming off the bench, and that included
Mhm.
he assists too. He had 5 assists coming off the bench.
Yeah.
So he was prolific. And I say that in the sense of Corey Burke was good for is gives you 20 to 30 minutes of good soccer.
Yeah.
Then he dies. And then it's like, okay. But so from that aspect, I will miss Corey. He played awesome.
Mhm.
At the same time, you can't pay him
Yeah.
more money when you have Kai, Jose, and Daniel, who's only making 500
Yeah. It didn't make
500K a
sense.
year, and he scored 22 goals. How are you going to pay Corey more? You can't do
As much
that.
as we still would like to have him, it just yeah,
You
we can't
can't
pay him
do
what he
that.
wants there.
You can't do that. If DC and Red Bulls are making him bigger offers, I mean, here's what I said at the end. I said, be trust Ernst,
Mhm.
be happy for Corey because Corey's getting money now.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid. You only have a limited amount of time as a professional athlete
Yep.
to make money. Go
He
make that money.
just don't be scoring against us.
Well, but and at the end, know that there's a plan in place.
Yeah.
So as much as it hurts, I mean, I got to side with the union. We made good
Oh yeah,
business
I
there.
trust Ernst, and honestly, like, yeah, for me, it's more of like, I mean, I appreciate what Corey did on the field, and I'm gonna miss it. For me, also, I just like, the person he is,
Oh, he's wonderful.
and honestly, like, um, he seemed to have brought a lot of, fun to the team. You saw him on social media. He was
He
great.
replaced
And
Stu.
okay, like yeah, Stuart Finley is my favorite. I was totally gutted when he left, um and Stu was always the best on the social media and stuff. Corey kind of filled that role a little bit, but also Corey wears my favorite number 19, so like that always appreciated too. But like, yeah, I miss Stu and now I miss Corey. And Kyle tell you it's like, yeah, if and when Kai goes, yeah, I'm gonna need some consoling.
We're gonna have to play in the arms of the angel and like do
Yeah.
like we'll have to do like a memorandum like
Yeah, and but the
in
fact is I love so many of the players on the,
oh yeah.
Andre and Jose and, Ali. I like all that, but like, yeah.
So and then of course the union had their so last piece of business we'll get to, I guess the union had their presser today.
Hmm.
Your thoughts on it?
No, I thought it was very good. Looking at the successes we had, and I feel like I do trust Ernst Tanner on this, moving forward. He's done great so far. I mean, he and Howie Roseman are like the magicians of Philadelphia with the sports teams.
Ernst better.
Eh, Probably.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I mean,
apples and oranges. They're
Howie's doing
different
a
teams.
good job. I will give
Yeah.
him that. I
We'll see
will.
what happens with the game this weekend with the guys we just signed. So,
So
but yes.
anything else?
That's pretty much, my take on those things.
I mean, my take on the presser, three things that stood out. Number one, Ernst, of course, saying that this season was a success.
Hmm.
Bigger thing, and this is probably even bigger, is Jim was talking about today flexibility in the
Hmm.
lineup. Now
Yeah.
he lives and dies by that diamond.
Right.
But now he's talking about, oh, we might go with a three-back system. We want to have more roster flexibility. And
We're gonna
I had
need to.
actually talked with Billy, who sits in our section, about yesterday about, hey, when there's subs, we need to be doing a little bit more. And
Hmm.
sometimes with some of these sub formations, and I get it. And to hear Jim say that, yeah, we're gonna have to get, we're gonna have a game, we're gonna have CONCACAF here, and then CCL, and then we have the Leagues Cup. There's so many games. He said like something like 50 games
Yeah,
possibly.
with so many games, they're gonna have to
So they're
mix
gonna
up a
mix
little
it
bit.
up. So I thought that was really awesome because
Hmm.
last year it was like, oh nope, we're gonna stay with the diamond. Now he's like, let's start to experiment and play some.
Hmm.
Second thing, I know some fans won't like to hear this. Ernst just saying that player development is in our DNA. If we start to
Hmm.
buy players,
Yeah.
we will not, we will not be successful. And he
Hmm.
said, I don't know if that was the exact quote, but I found that interesting because yes, that is our identity.
Hmm.
The academy is our identity. Now, does that mean, and Ernst plays everything so close to the
Hmm.
vest? Does that mean he's not going to go out and spend? He says he's going to get
Hmm.
center back, midfielder, and an attacker. So it's
Hmm.
either a striker or,
Hmm.
somebody to back up, probably replace Paxton.
Hmm.
So does that mean he's not going to spend? No. I think we got so much GAM. Just go out and use it. I mean, he
Hmm.
said they thought it's 26, 28 players. Like,
Hmm.
that's a lot of players. And
Hmm.
we're going to need it. And I think that some of that's going to be the academy kids. I expect Ryasco because, again, like I
Hmm.
said, you don't pay $1 million for a kid that just
Hmm.
sat in U2 last year. Yeah, he has some time to go, but now you got
Yeah.
to figure out, is this investment worth it? Because if Ernst wants to go in the future to this same thing
Hmm.
and he goes to Sherman's going to be like, yo, what about this other $1 million investment that we spent on last year sitting down here in YouTube? Why don't you bring him up? So he's got to show that investment was worth it. So,
Hmm.
um, I thought overall it was an excellent season end presser. We'll see what happens, but you know, overall it was a good season. So, that's all I have for today. Do you have anything else?
I mean, honestly, it was a great season. Um, and I mean, I can't say enough about like, we are so proud of this team.
Yeah.
We love this team. Can't wait to see what the future holds. And you know, It's
And
been an experience.
I want to thank you for listening today.
Mhm,
I hope you guys enjoy this. We're just having fun. This is
mhm,
something. This is basically like we are at home,
mhm,
where we're sitting here at home just chatting. And so this is one of the reasons we want to connect with you guys
mhm,
because, as we say in the bad life, love, and dupe. That's really our mantra. I feel that this team has brought us even closer together,
mhm.
and that's been very exciting.
Yeah, a team we actually agree on because I keep telling him, "Oh, you should be an Eagles fan,"
No.
you know?
But so if you want to get interactive, I'm on Twitter at Coach Almany, and you can also join this the vlog here. We are on Twitter as well, on the one team we agree on.
Yep, I'm on Twitter at silly double underscore Jilly.
And then we're also on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow along there. We will be posting content on the Twitter and Facebook and social media page as well. So just follow along. Um, and um, and if you have nothing else, we'll see you next time. And thank you again, and have a wonderful day. And go Union.
Go Union.